different types of inventory in the organization. There are different ways of classifying the inventory in the organization, which will help you. There are different ways of classifying inventory in the organization. Why should you classify? The immediate question should be, why should you classify? One technique that we discussed in the last class is we talked about ABC analysis. Did we talk about ABC analysis in the last class? Who were there? Students who were there in the last class. Under classification of inventory, did we talk about ABC analysis? Yes or no? You have to tell yes or no. If you did not listen, no. If you heard, yes. Quickly.
Yes, sir.
We did talk about ABC.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You don't remember? According to ABC analysis, what is the full form of ABC analysis? ABC analysis. What is the full form? Yeah, it's
Sir,
okay.
always
Just
better control.
JIT.
Just in time, sir.
Yeah. ABC is always better control. What is this always better control technique? Before talking about, see, entire inventory in the company is categorized into different types or classified into different types. Why? That is what are these techniques? These techniques are not common to all the organizations. For different types of businesses, they follow different types of technique. Not all organizations will follow everything. That is what you should know. If that is the case, which kind of company will follow which technique? But even before that, you should know, why should you classify inventory? You have so many things in the organization. Why should you classify them as 1, 2, and 3, or rank them as 1, 2, and 3, or classify them as ABC, or FSN, or VED? Why should you classify? What is the use of classifying? Let us discuss why should you classify first, and then we'll discuss what are the various types of classifications, and then which classification is used in which industry. These are important. So why should you classify? Tell me, why should you classify? You have so many things in the organization. Why should you classify as 1, 2, 3? Rank them or classify them. What are your thoughts?
Sir, there are mainly two thoughts, sir. The first thing is to reduce the cost, whatever we have incur while we keeping the stock in our warehousing.
Okay.
And the second one is try to avoid extra money. Means like that, if there is a $5 of material and
Okay.
there is also $1 of material,
Okay.
but we need to think about which is more important and which should I keep so that I can avoid the extra cost.
Okay, agreed. See, what he told is absolutely right. When you have different categories, when you have different types of materials in your organization, not all the materials are very important. In the same way, we cannot, when there are some materials which are less important, we cannot completely leave them out of your inventory. You should have both of them. If you want to have both of them, in what quantities do you want to have important goods and less important goods in the organization? You should find out. Why should you find out is because when you buy inventory as well as when you have your materials in the company, in both ways you spend cost. Do you agree? You have some cost involved while buying the inventory as well as while holding the inventory in your company. Holding is keeping the inventory in your company. If you are directly using it in the manufacturing process, it is going. But in case if you are storing it in your company, then you have to spend some cost on it, like for something called as storage cost, also called as holding cost. So when you have different types of inventory in the organization, you are spending money on that, both for buying it as well as holding it in the organization. Now, how can you reduce that holding cost and buying cost? Is what is the objective with which we will try to classify the goods. If you classify the goods, which is important, which is not very important, accordingly you can buy and hold in your organization. That will help you to save cost. Okay. So that is the primary purpose of classifying the inventory. Are you all listening? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Sir,
So is
my answer, sir, understandable to you, sir?
Yeah. What you told, I understood. Yes, Vishal.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So now see, if classifying the goods or inventory in the organization is important to identify which is very useful and which is little less useful, and accordingly you can save cost. I told there are different methods. Now all these methods are categorized into 6 types. Out of the 6 types, the first method that we discussed in the last class is ABC analysis. The full form of ABC analysis is A is always, B is better, C is control. Always better control. Now, according to this classification method, all the inventory in the organization is divided into 3 categories. Category A, category B, and category C. Now, on what basis are we dividing this inventory is on the basis of its value in the company. So category A products are those products or those inventory which is of high value. Category B is next high value and category C is least value. So this is what we already discussed. Now, out of your total inventory, out of 100, if your inventory is 100 products or 100 raw materials, out of this 100, 70% of your inventory will be category A. Then 20% of your inventory will be category B and 10% of your inventory will be category C if you are dividing your inventory on the basis of ABC analysis. Is it clear? This is what we already discussed in the last class. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Now, because we already discussed, I'm not going to spend much time on this. Look at the second category. The second category is FSN analysis. Now, what is FSN analysis? See, in this category also, or in fact, in all the categories that I wrote on the board, your inventory in the company is categorized into 3 different categories. Like how we have A, B, C. In second category, we divide the inventory as FSN category. Now, what is the full form of FSN? What is the full form of FSN?
Sir, fast, slow, non-moving goods.
FSN is fast moving, F is fast, S is slow, and N is non-moving. Now, fast moving goods, slow moving goods, and non-moving goods. Now, what are these? In which industry do we use this technique? Okay, ABC analysis, in which industry can we use ABC analysis? Can we use it in manufacturing? Dividing your inventory into very important 70%,
Yes, sir.
then next important 20%, least important 10%. Can we do it in manufacturing? Big manufacturing units. Basically, ABC analysis is used in big manufacturing units. Okay. Yes, no? ABC
Yes,
analysis in big manufacturing units. Whereas FSN analysis, it can be used in retail outlets. It can be used in retail outlets. What are retail outlets? What are retail outlets? Your shopping malls?
yes, sir.
All the retail outlets. In the retail outlet also you will have stock. Yes or no? If you go to a shopping mall, does the shopping mall have stock?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now all that stock is inventory for the retail outlet or the shopping mall. Now in the shopping mall, they can categorize the goods as FSN analysis, as FSN goods. Goods that are sold very fast, goods that are slowly sold, goods that are not sold at all. Do you have these categories? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If you talk about a simple mobile retailer, a mobile retailer who is selling mobile phones, for that mobile retailer, he can classify his mobile phones as maybe some products, like let me say Xiaomi or Vivo. They are the mobile phone brands which are going very fast. Now this brand goods are called as fast moving goods for me. You understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No one is, let me say that no one is buying lava or carbon phones. There are also lava and carbon phones that this retailer is selling. Okay, no one is buying lava brand and carbon brand. You know that there is lava brand and carbon brand in India? Mobile phones? Yes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, please, sir.
So let me say that no one is buying this. Even Nokia, no one is buying, for example. Only for example, okay? Even Nokia mobiles also no one is buying. But this retailer who is selling mobile phones, they have these mobile phones with them. Few pieces. Yes or no? So if no one is buying the mobile phones that are there with you, they are non-moving goods. They are not going out at all. Though you have them, they are not moving. You may also have some brands like, let me say, Samsung. Samsung is there. Only very few people are buying Samsung phones. Okay, you got it. Yes,
sir.
or no? So from a retail outlet point of view, not only mobile phones or not only shopping malls, you can talk about even food industry. Even in food industry, certain products or certain kind of foods will go very fast. Yes or no?
Yes,
Some
sir.
food they will not order at all. Some food will go very slow. Some varieties of food. Some variety of food there is high demand for, let me say there is high demand for biryani, for example. So biryani comes under fast moving food variety category. There will be certain things where only few people will order. Some category, though the hotel or restaurant offers, no one will buy that. Still they'll offer. It will be on offer. Yes or no? Are you understanding? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
So all such kind of category of your stock is what is called as FSN analysis, particularly used from retailer's point of view. Okay, fast moving goods, slow moving goods, non moving goods, inventory. Any doubts? Clear? Clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The third one. What is the third one? This is VED. What is this VED? Vital, essential, and
Desirable.
there are some sectors or there are some industries which will categorize their inventory as vital products, all the inventory materials as vital products, essential products, and desirable products. Now what are these? What are vital products? What are essential products? What are desirable products? See, actually, this category of classification of inventory is done in all those organizations, particularly, specifically, which manufacture spare parts. Are you getting yes or no? This category of inventory is followed in those organizations which are involved in say manufacturing spare parts for a bigger organization or for different brands.
Sir, please repeat once.
VED classification of inventory. VED classification of inventory is followed in those organizations which are specifically making some spare parts for some other products. Like for example, see, vital is what very important. Vital is very important. See, actually, vital is very important product. Essential is important, even if it is essential is important. Desirable is not that important. For example, if I talk about bike and some company manufacturing spare parts for a bike, are you all with me? Are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I already made a mention that VED, vital, essential, and desirable classification of inventory is done with companies which are dealing with spare parts. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So I am taking an example of a spare part manufacturing company which is manufacturing spare parts for bikes. Okay. From a bike point of view, there may be certain products which are very vital, which are essential, and which may be desirable. Like for example, if I talk about the clutch wire for a bike, clutch cable.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is clutch cable? Is clutch cable vital, essential, or desirable?
Vital, sir.
Clutch cable is very important. Without the clutch play, if the clutch wire or cable cuts, immediately you have to have it. Otherwise, your bike is not going to go. Yes or no? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
There are so many students. Only one student or two students keep on answering every time. Others, if you are not answering, it's not at all good. That to this part of the day. We have 19 students. Okay, if I talk about clutch cable, if I talk about mirrors for your bike, the rear mirrors that you see, and the signal lights. If I take these three products in the bike, are you all listening? Are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
If I take
Yes,
clutch
sir.
wire, or if I take the clutch cable, if I take the mirrors that you require in the bike and the signal lights, out of these three products, can I categorize these three products as vital, essential, and desirable? If I can, which one is vital, which one is essential, which one is desirable?
Sir, clutch in under the white.
Yeah, clutch
And
cable is vital, okay,
and signal is come into the essential and mirror come into desirable.
desirable. Others, what are your thoughts? Okay, I took Vishal's I heard.
Same, sir.
Others, what?
Sir, but if someone don't want to pay challan, sir, then the mirror will come in essential.
Someone don't want to pay challan. Oh, is it that they're collecting challan for mirror also? I am
Yes,
not
sir.
sure, Rahul.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. There is challan
At least
for
not
mirror.
for us in the south. It's
Sir, in
only for
north,
helmet they're collecting, not for the mirror.
sir, in
Yes.
north there is a challan for mirror also in bike.
Okay. And what about two mirrors? Both the sides?
Both sides, sir.
Okay. Then from customer to customer, region to region, essential and desirable can change.
Yes, sir.
Okay, agreed. Okay, from assuming that if you don't have a mirror, if you are paying challan, then definitely mirrors are also essential. Though it's not vital, it is essential. Without mirror also your bike will run. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So vital is something which is very, very important from the bike point of view for its functioning. Okay, that's what is vital product or vital category. Then essentially it is necessary. It's good if you have. It will save something for you. And desirable is even if you don't have that also, it's okay. That's what is desirable. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You got it? So from my example, assuming that there is no challan for mirrors, your clutch cable should be vital. Your signal lights can be essential. It will save you from waving the hand. Signal lights would be essential. Even if you don't have a signal light, still you can use your hand as a signal. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
And desirable is your mirrors. See, mirrors, as Rahul was pointing, if it is challan case, it becomes essential and sometimes vital, like helmet. You're getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So from the spare
Yes,
parts
sir.
manufacturing, yeah, someone has to say something. Saurav, something?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Now this is what I told from customer point of view. From customer point of view, we discussed all this, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, how customer is viewing the product accordingly, the manufacturer who is manufacturing clutch cable, who is manufacturing the mirror or the signal lights, he will classify his inventory in the company as vital, essential, and desirable. You got it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that is what is this category of classification of inventory. Look at the next one, fourth one. The fourth one is HML. And what is the full form of HML? It is high, medium, and low.
Low.
Now, high, medium, and low is again based on what? What is high, what is medium, what is low?
User.
High, medium, low is usage. Is it on the base of usage, or is it for the cost? Is it on the base of cost, or is it on the base of price? Actually, the next classification of inventory is HML analysis. According to HML analysis, the inventory in the company is categorized as high value inventory, medium or moderate value inventory, and low value inventory. Or is it low cost? That high, medium, low, on what basis will you divide? Will you divide it on the basis of cost? Will you divide it on the basis of price? Or will you divide it on the basis of its value? How will you divide? On the basis of cost, always high, medium, low. Others? If it is on the basis of cost, how is high HML different from ABC?
Yes, sir. Right question, sir.
If you are dividing the elements or if you are dividing the inventory on the basis of cost, then how is HML different from ABC? In ABC also we are dividing into category A, category C. And I'm saying there is some value. On the basis of value you are dividing. Then how will you do? How will you do? What is the difference between cost and price?
sir, cost is the manufacturing cost, and price that we set to sell the product.
Profit.
This is how much money? Price. Okay. Cost plus profit is price. Okay. But this you know. Now can I say if I say if I'm dividing the inventory on the basis of price, then it will be HML. Okay. For now,
Yes,
for understanding,
yes,
let us finish off. Let me say the inventory after manufacturing, the inventory can be categorized as high, medium, low on the basis of price. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For now, because we did not do any problem on ABC analysis to understand what is value. So we'll do one problem on ABC analysis and then again get back to HML. Basically, HML is dividing your inventory into high value inventory, moderate value inventory, and low value inventory. Let us assume that it is categorized on the basis of price for which you are selling them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
High priced, moderate priced, or medium priced and low priced. Look at the next one. What is this next one? The fifth category of classification of inventory is SDE classification. And the full form of SD is scarce products, difficult products, and easy products. Now, what is this? What are scarce? What is difficult and what is easy?
Scarce are those which are not much present in our environment.
Are not easily available. So
Yes,
they are
sir.
very limited, and they are available. It need not necessarily be environment. It can be from the business environment or the business locality where you are covering. That can be scarce.
Yes, sir. Maybe some product which not have been
Easily available.
Easily
produced by manufacturer.
yes, Vishal. For example, let me say some kind of farm products and the farming because of floods or something, it's not available. One good example in India would be onions. You all know the concept of onions, yes or no? If the season is bad and if you don't have proper onions, it becomes scarce and the price increases. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So all those products, we did not necessarily say that products scarce means it's naturally always not there. Not like that. From year to year, some years if there is proper rain, you may have some crops, some fruits available. Some seasons when it is not there, very limited productivity in terms of cultivation, then it becomes scarce and its prices increases. One good example is onion, tomatoes in India. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Your scarcity does not always mean that every time it's not available. From year to year, it can change. This year, if the production of onions is not good, it becomes scarce. Onion becomes scarce. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So that is what is scarce. Then what is difficult? Products are available, but procuring them is difficult. Okay? We cannot easily get them. They are available, but we cannot easily get them. Examples. And easy things is every daily routine products that are easily available every time is what is easy. Okay? Easy is okay. Tell me difficult. Any examples? Okay, before talking about difficult category inventory, what is that is scarce now in the business environment? If you are reading newspapers, now that certain products become scarce in the market, because of which it is affecting many industries like say the automobile industry, the telecommunication industry, mobile phones. What is that is getting affected now? Because of the scarcity of certain product in the market now throughout the world. If you are reading newspapers, current affairs, any one of you out of 21, even in the news also daily it's coming up. Have you heard that the chip manufacturing?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Shortage of chips.
Yes, sir. Many other companies are making their own chips.
They are making their own chip, but this shortage, there is a shortage of chip because of this COVID-related thing, as well as because of the raw material, the semiconductor devices.
Yes, sir. The
Aluminum.
You heard about this in the news. This is what is coming up.
Yes, sir.
This is having an impact. This is having an impact on laptops, computer manufacturers, mobile manufacturers, so many electrical appliances also, because we are moving towards IoT, Internet of Things.
Yes, sir.
We are moving towards Internet of Things, and all the devices in our home or in the office can be connected through a chip. And now there is a shortage of chip. Have you heard this in the news? This is current affairs.
Yes, sir.
And now chips became short. It became scarce product. You understood? Chips became scarce. Earlier it was available. Now also it's available, but the demand increased drastically because of IoT, Internet of Things. Everyone is using chips in every device. Now, if that is the case, now chips became scarce. Are you all with me? Yes or no? Not eating chips, not Lays.
Yes,
Are you all with me?
yes,
I'm not talking about Lays, my dears.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm talking about semiconductor chips that are used in the devices, our devices. Okay.
Yes, sir. Due to this, sir, the Tata or Reliance company make their own chips.
Own chips. Yes.
They started making chips, sir.
Yes. Now you understood what is a scarce product. Now if you take computer manufacturers, You take mobile phone manufacturers, for them chips became scarce now. It becomes scarce.
Yes, sir.
Now you understood what is scarce. Now tell me what is difficult. Easy is all the products that are available. Easy is okay. What is a difficult product from an inventory point of view? It can be available but difficult to procure. Examples.
Sir, perishable goods.
Perishable goods, difficult. Examples, please. Few perishable goods which you think are difficult.
Like sir, वो जल्दी खराब हो जाता है तो.
Quickly spoiled.
Flour.
Flowers, difficult to procure. Difficult products.
Sir, some biological products.
Okay, let me say, see, scarce products is everywhere it is not available, so it became scarce. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir, difficult may be vaccine, sir.
Difficult may be vaccine. Okay, yes, agreed, to some extent agreed, because it's not freely available everywhere. But it's available, you can still procure. See, difficult products are those products which are available, but it is difficult to procure for you. It is difficult to procure for you. For example, if the same concept of vaccine that you told, all the developed countries, they are making their own vaccine and they are using. Yes or no? Yes or no? Same thing with some kind of developing countries also. Like India, we are also trying to manufacture and we are using our own vaccine. We are also exporting our vaccine. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But there are certain countries, underprivileged countries or underdeveloped countries, who does not have the facility of producing their own vaccine, nor will they have the proper facility to procure vaccine from developed countries or developing countries. It is available. Vaccine is available with us. Vaccine is available with the developed countries. But there may be some countries, though it is available, they cannot buy it because of money constraint or because of maybe political constraints, because of some barriers in between. Then in that case, for that underprivileged countries, vaccine becomes a difficult product. You understood? It can be available, it will be available, but for you, procuring can be difficult. Procuring means getting it can be difficult. That getting it can be because of money. It can be because of regulations. Regulations like your country's rules and regulations. That's what I'm talking about. That will stop or that will be high. That is what is difficult. You understood? Yes or no? To put it in simple words, scarce product availability itself will be less. Availability itself will be less. That's what is scarce. Under scarce category. Okay? Okay?
Yes.
In difficult product, availability is possible, but procuring that is difficult. Rules, regulations will come in between. Money can come in between. All that will be difficult then. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Easy ones are always available. Routine products are what are called as easy. So that's what is scarce, difficult, easy. Now what is this last category called just in time? Just in time, it is not an inventory classification technique. It's actually inventory management technique. Just in time technique. Where did you hear? Have you heard it before? JET?
Yes, sir.
Just in time. What is just in time?
Use the product as soon as possible.
In the supply chain, what is just in time? Supply chain is you have suppliers, you have manufacturers, you have distributors, you have customers. In this supply chain, how do you apply the concept of just in time? Supplier to manufacturer, manufacturer to distributor, distributor to customer. Customer to the manufacturer again can be what? If you are transporting goods from supplier to customer, what is this called in logistics? If you are transporting goods from supplier to customer, what is this process called?
Logistic.
Logistics, what is it called in logistics? Forward logistics?
Yes, sir.
If it is coming back from customer to the manufacturer or supplier, it is called as backward logistics, also called as reverse logistics.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is this just in time? Where do we apply just in time here? In this supply chain.
Manufacturing.
Do we apply just in time only in manufacturing? See, we are still talking about just in time. We are not in just in time now. In the current scenario, in the 2020s, we are in just in time 2. We are in JIT 2. JIT just in time is a long back story now. We are in just in time 2 category. We are in just in time 2 phase.
Sir, we take order from the customer and immediately we make
The
Wait,
products.
that is what is just in time. See, just in time, as the name suggests, whether the goods are moving from manufacturer, from supplier, you should get raw materials, right? Whatever raw materials you want for production, it will be given to you on time. That is what is just in time here. Similarly, whatever order that the distributor is doing to the manufacturer, that will be immediately sent to the distributor. That is what is just in time for these two.
Yes.
And as someone told me, customer will order for customer order, it can go from distributor, it can go from manufacturer. Immediately the customer orders, immediately the good will go. That is what is just in time for customer. Yes or no?
Yes.
So which means I actually want to say that just in time is not there only between two links in the supply chain. It is there throughout. Excuse me. The concept of just in time is there throughout the supply chain in all the links. You understood? Yes or no?
Yes.
Just in time is not only between manufacturer and customer or manufacturer and supplier. In all the nodes, in all the say intermediaries in the supply chain, the concept of just in time applies. If that is the case, what is just in time to? Anyone? What is just in time to? JIT2. What is JIT2? Please answer.
It's a new term to us.
Just in time 2, you never heard anywhere earlier?
Sir, only JIT.
You only heard JIT. So research on what is JIT2. I will give you a hint. It is also called as vendor managed inventory. Just in time 2 is also vendor managed inventory, or vendor managed inventory is also called as just in time 2. Did you get the keyword? Yes.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I think it is talking about, sir, how the manufacturing relationship with the supplier. If I
That is
need,
there. Yeah. Okay.
if I need the material immediately, can my supplier provide me or not? So I think this is JIT2 related.
JIT2. Okay. Do little research and come to the next class. We have a class tomorrow. Find out what is vendor managed inventory, which is also called as just in time 2. See, those are all the different types of classification techniques that we have in inventory, which you should know. Now, out of all these classification techniques, the 6 that I told you now: ABC analysis, FSN analysis, VDE analysis, HML analysis. Then we have scarce, difficult, easy, SDE analysis, and just in time. These are the 6 inventory classification techniques that people follow in different industries. Now, out of all this, ABC analysis is the most commonly used analysis techniques in many of the manufacturing units. If that is the case, we will do one problem as to see how goods in the organization are categorized as, or inventory in the manufacturing unit is categorized as A, B, and C. We'll do one problem now. But before that, let us finish off another small concept which is called as different types of costs in inventory. Are you all with me? Are you all listening? Yes or no?
Yes,
sir.
Another 5 to 10 minutes of discussion, and then we'll start doing some problems on the topics that we discussed so far.
Please, sir.
Other than inventory management and the basic concepts of inventory management, like what is inventory, what are the different types of inventory, what are different classification techniques of inventory, there is another important concept in inventory management called as different costs of inventory. How much money are you spending on inventory? So in inventory, or on the basis of inventory, costs are of 3 types. There are 3 types of inventory costs. There are 3 types of inventory costs from a company's point of view. Inventory costs. I hope you can see the board. Can you all see the board? There are 3 types of inventory costs. We have something called as ordering cost, carrying cost, are you all there? Are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And we have something called as stock out cost. Inventory cost is categorized as ordering cost, carrying cost, and stock out cost. What are these? What are these? What are these, please?
Sir, middle one, what you have written, sir?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Carrying cost. The first one, inventory cost is three types: ordering cost, carrying cost, and the stock out cost. Carrying cost and stock out cost. And stock out cost, I wrote something here. I'll explain what is this. I wrote BOC and I wrote LCC. I'll tell you what is it. According to your common sense, tell me what do you think is ordering cost, what is carrying cost, and what is stock out cost?
Sir, ordering cost is the cost when you order the material.
Yeah, okay, agreed.
And
What
yes,
can
sir.
come into that? What can go into it? What our money can go into that ordering cost?
Sorry, sir, I'm not getting. What?
Okay, well, I agreed with what you told. Ordering cost is the money that you spend to order the materials from the suppliers. Okay,
Yes,
agreed.
yes.
What is carrying cost?
Yes, sir. Carrying cost is the cost that incurred while you keep the product in the warehouse.
Okay, so when you buy the materials from your supplier, it is not that all the materials that you directly push into manufacturing. Some will be stored in your warehouse or in your godown.
Yeah, anywhere to yes.
So whatever material that you are storing, instead of using for manufacturing, for storing that also you spend some money. That's what is
Yes.
carrying cost.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely right. Then what is stock out cost?
Stock out cost, sir, when someone ordering those material and I need to deliver those material,
Okay.
then I think that is the cost. Stock out
But it
cost.
says stock out.
Yeah, the
Stock out is there is no stock. Yes or no? Stock
yes,
out
sir.
actually means there is no stock. When there is no stock also, and if the customer is asking us something to send, then in that case, if you don't, because you don't have stock with you, there is some loss for you. Yes or no? You lose the
Oh,
customer.
okay,
You
okay,
can
got it,
lose
sir.
the customer. So that's what is stock out cost. Okay, for the benefit of all others, in the name itself, you have the meaning of that particular cost. See, ordering cost is I am making this. For example, if I'm making this marker, I need plastic. I have to bring plastic from my supplier. So I have to order how much plastic I get. So that's what is while ordering your materials, whatever cost you involve is what is your ordering cost. It includes administration charges. It includes transportation of material from your supplier to your organization. Everything comes under ordering cost. You got it? Are you all listening? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then what is
Sir,
carrying cost? As
sir,
I told you,
sir,
once you're go ahead, Vishal.
sir, in ordering cost, sir, material cost also include or not, sir?
Yeah, your material cost is also included. Your raw material cost. Yes.
Okay, and processing cost also.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's why I told administrative cost. Then if you get into carrying cost, whatever material you bring to your company, you will not, if you are not using everything into manufacturing in one go, if you are storing it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you have to store it in your godown. For that godown, you are spending money. So you are storing it. Someone should see. You should spend money on pesticides so that pests will not spoil it. You have to spend money on rats and other things which will not bite and eat away your raw material. So the money that you incur for holding the raw material in your company, in your godowns or in your warehouse is what is called as carrying cost. You spend some money there also.
Insurance also.
Yes, including insurance. Then lastly, we have another category of inventory cost called as stock out cost. See, stock out cost can be of two types. Stock out cost is you don't have any stock, but the customer is asking for products. Then if you don't have any stock, you can incur two types of cost. One is called as back order cost. There is something called as back order cost, or there is another kind of stock out cost called as there is another kind of stock out cost which is also called as lost customer cost. There are two types of stock out costs. If you don't have stock when the customer is ordering, then this is what is the cost that you will incur. One is called as back order cost. The other one is called as lost customer cost. Are you all getting this? Yes or no? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is back order cost? See, when you don't have cost, when the customer orders, there are two possibilities. One is, what are the two possibilities? I am if you are the business person, I am ordering something and you don't have ready material. Then what are the two possibilities there? Two possibilities. I want markers. You are the marker. You are your marker supplier for me. I am asking for marker. You don't have ready marker stock with you to sell markers to me. What are the two possibilities from the customer point of view? From my point of view, if I have good relations with you as a business person, even though you don't have marker today, I can wait for one day, maybe for you to supply. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If I
Yes,
have
sir.
good, if I have good relations, I can wait for you to supply. Or if I don't have good relations, I will leave you and I'll buy from someone else. These are the two possibilities. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Two possibilities are either I wait for the order for you to process if I have good relations. So when I wait for you to process and I'm giving you time to deliver it for tomorrow, you will start fastening up things. You will get your material for that, you incur cost. Yes or no? You are listening?
Yes,
So
sir.
one possibility is the customer waiting for you to deliver. And when you're delivering it, now you have to do things fast, not in the same pace with what you're doing earlier. When you're doing it things fast, you incur more money. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That is what is back order cost. Back order cost when the customer is waiting for the person to fulfill the order. Customer is waiting there. Okay. The second cost is lost customer cost. If the other kind of customer is, they will not wait for you. If you don't have stock, okay, I'll leave you. I'll buy it from someone else. Then the customer itself is lost for you. Yes or no? That is what is lost customer cost. Okay. So when you don't have stock ready to supply, these are the two types of costs that you incur. One is back order cost, which is also called as customer waiting for you to process. The second one is customer leaves you and buys it from someone else. These are the two costs. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
sir.
why are we talking about all this is, why are we talking about cost is, when you order your raw materials from your supplier, how much should you order? How much should you order? Are you all with me? This is very important topic in supply chain
Yes.
management, which is practically used in all the companies. The
Okay.
topic that we are going to discuss now is practically used in organizations. So why are we talking about this cost here? It is because when you order raw materials from the supplier, how much should you order? How will you decide that? How will you decide that? See, for example, I'm making markers. I know for every month I'm making 100 markers. Accordingly, I should buy raw material. How much raw material should I buy from the supplier? Tell me how much. How will I come to a decision on this? How much
Forecasting.
raw material should I buy? See,
Forecasting.
you do on the basis of forecasting. How
Yes,
much
sir.
raw material should you buy? How much raw material? I told, forget about forecasting. I told I am manufacturing 100 markers every month.
Yes, sir.
You know already the forecast, what is the demand. How much will you buy raw material and keep in your organization? 1 month. I told 1 month. If it is 100 every month, I know that it is 1200 markers I'm making every year. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So for 1 year, if I'm making 1200 markers, how much raw material should I buy from the supplier? Should I buy the raw material necessary for all 1200 today and keep?
More, sir.
If I do that, tell me what is the advantage, what is the disadvantage?
Sir, if some kind of what we say, some raw material is waste. If we just सर हमने मतलब बराबर raw material लिया और बीच में कहीं पे मतलब waste हो गया सर.
Okay, let us assume, Rahul, let us assume that there is no natural calamity, there is no wastage of raw material. Raw material will not get wasted. Let me assume that it is plastic, so it will not get wasted.
So then more will be enough for us because sir, if the demand will be increased for next time, sir, then we will have a proper knowledge. And if the demand is decreased, so actually we know that how much we have to produce for the next time. So first we will demand for more raw materials, and when our product is finished and we sell in the market, on the basis of that we will take decision for next steps, sir.
No, I am saying the demand for my markers is every month 100. That's it. Demand also is finalized, and I know demand is not going to fluctuate. Demand is going to be constant. This is another assumption. This is another assumption I'm making for calculating how much should I order. So no natural calamities, no wastage of raw materials. It's not going to get spoiled. demand is not going to fluctuate, demand is going to be constant, and the demand is 100 every month. So for a year it is 1200. Then how will you order?
Sir, may I, sir?
Yeah, go ahead, Vishal.
Yes, sir. So you have asked, sir, advantage and disadvantage in this case.
Yes.
Sir, the first advantage, sir, we don't need to order again and again. So we
Okay.
can avoid the ordering cost.
Okay.
Okay, sir. And
Yes.
and the disadvantage also lie in itself, inventory cost, that is the carrying cost.
Okay.
We need to put more money carrying cost because
Yes.
we order very earlier and we keep
Yes.
in the stock, so we need
Yes.
to we need to put the carrying cost more.
Okay. Yes, agreed, Vishal. Right. See, what Vishal is trying to tell is, basically, if you know demand is constant 1200 per year, which means every month it is 100. So actually, from a businessman point of view, are you all listening? Are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's not only Vishal and Rahul. What about others? Are you all listening?
Yes,
Or you're
sir.
doing your own work, traveling, eating, so many things you can do when you're online. You are actually a multitasker. Your actual multitasking comes out when you're only online. Yes or no? All our multitasking skills will come out when we listen to the class online. You agree with my statement? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah, that multitasking is what organizations want, but not this kind of multitasking. Organizations are looking for multitasking candidates. Okay, come back. See, when I know that the demand is constant, 1200 per year, 100 every month, as a businessman, what I will think is, in case, because it is 1200, if I order everything now, my cost of raw material will decrease because I order more. If I buy 100 every month, cost will be more. Yes or no? Yes or no? If I'm buying 100 markers, 100 plastic for making marker, 100 say units of plastic for making marker, for 100, let me say, the price with which I buy is only 100. 100 rupees. If I spend 100 rupees, I'll get 100 markers worth plastic. If it is 100, it is like that. But if I buy 200 or 500 or 1200 now, today itself, will it still be 100 or it will come down? If you buy products in bulk, higher quantities, lesser the price. Yes or no? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yes. Yes,
So
sir.
instead of buying month on month, every month 100 and then bring it to my company, if I buy all 1200 once, instead of 100 rupees, I may get it only for 80 rupees each unit. Yes or no? That is the advantage if I buy in bulk. Yes or no? But if I think in this way, if I think that instead of buying 100 every month, spending 100 rupees, if I buy all 1200, if I buy every month, for 1 year I'll spend 100. Yes or no? Every month if I spend 100 rupees on my inventory or raw materials, for 1 year I will spend 1200. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But if all the 1200 if I'm buying in this month only, I will get it for 800. I'll get, let me say I'll get it only for 800. Which one is best for you?
800, sir.
So obviously 800 is best for you. So if you buy in bulk, you can get it for 800. You save 400. But the problem there is, when you buy all these 1200 and keep it in your organization and you use only 100 every month, you have to carry 1100 worth products for another 11 months. Yes or no? And remember, whenever you have inventory, you have to carry them for 11 months. There is also carrying cost involved. Are you all listening? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you are buying inventory from your supplier, if you look only from one angle, your ordering cost may reduce. From 1200, you brought it to 800. But alternatively, your holding cost is increasing, your carrying cost is increasing. You have to hold it for 11 months.
Yes, sir.
So that is the problem when you order materials from your suppliers. So how should you order? You should order. So that's why I'm drawing this graph. If you can see, I took quantity. How much you should order? That quantity on x-axis. All of you, can you see the board? Can you see the board?
Yes.
ये सर वो नीचे वाले नहीं दिख रही है सर.
सर 100 के नीचे नहीं दिख रहा था सर.
This one?
सर वो आपने इरेज कर दिया. वो 100 जो एग्जांपल दिया था ना, 100 200 500.
Yes. I'll tell the example again.
No
So
problem.
from the EOQ point of view, this is the quantity that you are planning to order, and this is the cost. And when you have cost and when you want to order, there are two types of cost. One is ordering cost and the other one is carrying cost. You all agree? That's what we are discussing. So your ordering cost, if you are ordering only 100, it will be 100 rupees. If you are ordering 200, it will be less than 100. If you are ordering 200 products, it will be less than 100 because you are ordering more. Yes or no? Yes or no? And if you are ordering 1200, your cost should come down or go up. You have to tell me.
Down, sir. Come down.
So as the quantity increases, your ordering cost will come down. You agree or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
As the quantity that you order will increase, your ordering cost should come down. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. That is
So
certain.
the graph of the ordering curve can be a downward sloping graph like this. If it is 100, the cost is, let me say, 100 rupees. But if it is 1200, the cost is 800 rupees. Are you seeing?
Yes, sir.
Quantity
Yes,
is
sir.
increasing, cost is coming down. Let me say, your cost, if you are ordering 100, your total cost is 1200. 800, 900, 1000, 1200. Okay. So this is your ordering cost. I'm saying it as CO, ordering cost. Okay. So your ordering cost with respect to quantity will be a downward sloping curve. Downward sloping curve. The more you order, the lesser the cost. You agree?
Yes, sir.
Now there is another cost which is called as carrying cost. If you bring more products and keep it in your factory, you have something called as carrying cost, also called as holding cost. Now that cost will increase with increase in quantity or decrease with quantity. You'd have to tell me that. Your
Will
holding
increase
cost,
with
carrying
quantity.
cost, will it increase with quantity or will it decrease in quantity? More
The
quantities
carrying-
if you carry, will it increase the cost of carrying or will it decrease the cost of carrying?
Increase.
More होगा तो increase होगा, sir.
Yeah, the more the quantity you store, the more is the carrying cost. So it should be an upward sloping graph like this. If you only have 100, less holding cost. If you have 200, it will increase. Holding cost will increase. If you have 300, 1200, the holding cost will increase. This is what is called as carrying cost, CC. OC is ordering cost, CC is carrying cost, also called as holding cost. Now this is how your graph will look when you are considering carrying cost and ordering cost from your organization point of view. Now how much should you order every year? How much should you order? See, you should order this point. This is called as point of equilibrium. Can you see this point here? Where your carrying cost and ordering cost is intersecting. That point is called as point of equilibrium. What is that point?
Equilibrium point. EOQ.
Yeah, it is an
Then cost
equilibrium
equal
point.
to-
It is a point where your ordering cost and carrying cost is minimum. You agree?
Yes, sir.
Equilibrium point is a point where your carrying cost and ordering cost is minimum.
Sir, minimum or equal?
It's also equal. Minimum as well as equal. Both of them.
Okay, sir.
And that point is what is called as EOQ in supply chain, in inventory management. So how much should you order? See, it is not good for you to order all and keep it in your organization. Then in that case, your carrying cost will increase. If you order less, then your ordering cost will increase. How will you balance both of them? To balance both of them, we have something called as EOQ. You understood? You should not order so much. If you order so much, your ordering cost will decrease, but your carrying cost will increase. You understood you understood the link between ordering cost and carrying cost? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
So in that case, how much should you order? What should be the order size? Every time you order, how many orders should you have for 1 year? That is very important. So how much should you order? What should be the order size is decided by this point called as point of equilibrium. It is also called as economic order quantity, EOQ. So it is a point which will keep your carrying cost, ordering cost minimum as well as equal. Okay. Balance.
Yes,
It will balance both of them. Point of equilibrium actually means balance. It is going to balance both your carrying cost and ordering cost. So that is what is EOQ. You got it? Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is an important topic in inventory management. This is one topic and ABC analysis is another topic. These are the two topics that are practically used in all the companies when they manage inventory. Okay. Now, if that is the case, how do you get this point mathematically? So to get EOQ, we have a formula. I hope you can see if I'm writing here. Can you see? How do you identify this point for a company? Economic order quantity point for this company. For that, we have a formula. EOQ is given as, can you all see if I'm writing on blue here on the board, on the top? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
EOQ is given as square root of 2 into your ordering cost, which is CO, into D whole divided by C subscript C. Can you see the formula?
Yes, sir.
I wrote the square root is for the entire term here, both numerator and denominator. Square root is for both numerator as well as denominator. In the numerator, I wrote 2 into C subscript O. C subscript O at the bottom of CO. What is the CO? What is CO? I already told you what is CO. What is CO?
Ordering cost, sir.
Ordering cost. What is CC? C subscript C. What is CC? Carrying cost. I told you already CC is carrying cost. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sir,
The only one term we don't know is this. What is D? What is D? D is the demand, annual demand for that raw material. D is annual demand for the raw material. You got it? So apart from writing the formula, which is square root of 2 into C subscript OD divided by C subscript C, you should know what are all this. CO. CO is ordering cost per annum. D is annual demand for the raw material. CC is annual carrying cost. Okay? You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or no? Now
Yes, sir.
using this formula, we can calculate how much should you order when you are going for ordering your raw materials for the company. That is the best order. Okay. So you understood this concept, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If anyone has any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll start doing problems on EOQ and ABC. ABC analysis. We'll do at least one problem each.
Sir, many company use new concept instead of EOQ.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So what new concept is it, sir?
You yourself told new concept they are using. You should be able to tell what is the new concept.
Sir, I read in an article, but
Yes.
I forget it. So I wanna ask you, sir.
You already read in an article and you forgot it.
Yes, sir.
See, EOQ itself is the common technique that is used. Basing EOQ, they'll calculate something called as inventory ratio, inventory carrying ratio. When you club two or three methods together, they call it as optimizing inventory technique. Are you with me? Is it Manish?
Yes, sir.
It is not that they completely leave off EOQ. They add EOQ along with EOQ. They clubbed two more methods and they are calling it as modern
Yes.
inventory management techniques. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Those are all advanced inventory management techniques.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in the EOQ, sir,
Yeah.
just you have said the fixed demand.
Yeah.
But there is one also method where we in a fixed interval of time we must order the material, sir.
Yeah. Let us do one problem, and if you still have that doubt, I'll clear Vishal. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I got your point.
Means another method is there, sir. In the first year of our MBA program, sir, we have learned this two
Yes,
method. Yes, sir. In the EOQ, sir.
But still, it is EOQ only, no?
Yes, sir. एक फिक्स डिमांड पे होता है, एक फिक्स इंटरवल पे होता है, टाइम पे करना पड़ता है. तो
Yeah,
which one is?
that's what
okay.
we are going to do. We are going to do now.
Okay,
What
sir.
I'll do is, after doing this problem, if you have still that doubt, then we can come. You can ask me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Vishal. See, what I'm doing is I am pasting one question in the chat window for all of you common. I want you all to solve. Okay. Let me just paste it. Okay, can you all see it? Did you all get it? In the chat window, the question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is just the data. You are supposed to find this. Which I am sending now. You are supposed to find economic order quantity, number of orders per year, and time between successive orders. How will you do it? Give me a minute. Sorry for that. Did you all solve? Can you solve it? Are you all solving it? At least using the formula that we used on that I gave on the board.
Yes, sir.
You're trying to solve.
Sir, EQ 489.89.
EOQ is 9.89.
No. 489.89.
489.89. Can be 490.
Yes, sir.
Okay, agreed. Okay, what about others? Are you all doing? Are you all doing? Yes,
Yes,
or
sir.
no? So we are supposed to use this formula. The first thing is we are supposed to find out what is EOQ, what is economic order quantity. Directly they ask. So how will you find
Sir.
out? We are supposed to have these elements in the formula. How do you have these elements? See what is ordering cost. What is the ordering cost? Okay, they already gave. If you look at the question, Sam Motors Limited is a company which estimates that it can sell 12,000 units of its products for the next year. So 1 year it can sell 12,000 products. So what is the 12,000 there? What is 12,000 there? It is saying for the next year the demand is 12,000. Is it saying demand is 12,000? Yes or no? Others, all of you. It is saying it can sell 12,000 products next year. So demand is 12,000.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then it is saying the ordering cost is rupees 100 per order. Ordering cost, they gave it as ordering cost is rupees 100 per order. These are 12,000 units. Then what is it saying? It is saying the carrying cost per year is 20% of the purchase price per unit. It is saying the carrying cost is represented as CC according to our formula. It is 20% of your purchase price. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And what is the purchase price given? Purchasing price is given as 50 rupees per unit. That is what they gave in the question. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So purchasing price is given. You should know what is carrying. You already know what is D. Demand is 12,000. They already gave you ordering cost, which is 100. You are supposed to, you should have carrying cost. Carrying cost, they did not directly give carrying cost. They are saying carrying cost is 20% of your purchase price. So your purchase price is given, it is 50. So if 50 rupees is your purchase price, 20% of 50 is what is your carrying cost. So 20% of 50 is how much? 10?
10.
20% of 50 is 10. So your carrying cost is 10. So substitute all, now you have all the values. You have your demand, you have your ordering cost, you have your carrying cost, which is 10 now. So substitute all this in this, you should get this value. Check. Did you get the economic order quantity as 489.89?
Yes, sir.
Is rounding off to 490.
Yes, sir.
So EOQ is 490. First one we did. EOQ is after rounding off, it is 490 units. What does it mean? What does it mean? Interpretation. What does it mean? What does this 490 mean? What does this 490 mean?
Every time you order 490 quantity.
Every time you go for ordering raw materials from the supplier, it is good for you to give an order, keep an order for 490 items. That's the meaning. Others, are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
So for EOQ is 490 means every time you order, it is better for you to order for 490 raw materials. That if you order 490, your carrying cost and ordering cost will be minimum and same. That's what is that EOQ 490. Okay. You are supposed to find out what? You have to find out number of orders per year. How will you find this out?
Demand upon EOQ.
Yes. Number of
244.
orders you are supposed to find out. See, this is your order quantity. Yes or no? 490 you have to order every time. How many orders should you order? How many orders should you order in a year? You know what is the demand in a year? What is the demand for this company in the year?
12,000.
12,000. So how many orders should you place? You already know what is the order size. Order size is 490. So how many orders should you place? How will you get? Your demand, which is 12,000, divided by your order size, which is 490, will give you number of orders. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What should be the number of orders? 12,000 divided by 490 should be?
244.
It is
44.
number of orders. Is it 244 or 24 point something?
24.4, sir.
24 point?
Yes, sir.
Is 24.4? All of you? Simple
Sir.
calculations. We are not doing anything.
Yes, sir. My mistake, sir. 1 point.
Yeah, okay, Vishal. Then look at the last one. What is the last one? It says what should be the time between successive orders. How will you get this? Now you know how many orders you have to play. What should be your order size? You decided the order size should be 490. How many orders should you place if your demand is 12,000? In a year you have to place 24 orders. That's what you are saying. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
24 times you have to order to get the raw materials. Now the last question is, what will be the time between each order? For how much time period should you order? If I order today, when should I order next? In how many days gap should I order the next order? That's what it is asked. The last question. How will you get the time between orders? How will you get it? How will you get the time between orders? See, 1 year demand only we have, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So for 1 year only we are calculating all this. So time is 1 year. 1 year is how many months?
12, sir.
12 months. In terms of months, if you are calculating. In terms of months, if I am calculating the orders, number of orders. If I am calculating the number of orders per month, if I am calculating the number of orders on the base of months, then in 1 year I only have 12 months. So 12 will be my base. So if 12 is my base, how many orders I am making in the 12 months? How many orders am I making?
24, sir.
24.4.
4.
12 divided by 24.4. I know in 1 year there are 12 months. Number of orders that I am making is 24.4 orders. So your number of months in a year, if I am calculating the time for months, Number of months in a year divided by your number of orders will give you the time period. What is the time period?
1 year, sir.
12 divided by 24.4 is how much?
So 0.491.
0. Point. This is. Are you all able to see the board? 0.49.
Yes, sir.
1.
491. Now see, what does this mean? You understood why I did 12 by 24.4? Did you understand why I did 12 by 24.4? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Not completely, sir.
Look at the question. Just look at the question. It is saying, what is the question asking? What should be the time between orders? From one order to other order, what is the time gap? That is what it is asking. Yes or no? If you
Yes,
understood
sir.
the question,
Yes, sir.
how will I get that time? You know how many orders you are doing for 1 year. That is what is this number? Number of orders is 24.4 is for 1 year only. Is it for 1 year only? Because the demand you took for 1 year. Yes or no? This 24.4 orders, how did you get? You know what is the order quantity? This order quantity for 12,000 divided by 490 only, you got 24.4. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now the 12,000 is what? 12,000 is my demand for 1 year. Are you all listening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So number of orders in 1 year is 24.4 orders. 24 orders in 1 year. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So for 1 year, if I am doing 24 orders, what should be the gap between orders? It should actually be half a month, 15 days. Yes or no? If I do 15 days, one order, in 1 month there will be 2 orders. In one month, if there are 2 orders, 12 months it should be 24 orders. Obviously, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Already I got there are 24 orders, 24 point some 4. Okay. If there are 24 orders in 1 year means what should be the time gap between 2 orders is what I am calculating here. So how will I get that is the time that you are calculating, I am taking 12 months for 1 year. That is why I took 12 divided by 24. 24 is number of orders in that year. 24 orders in that year. So time divided by 24 orders that year is giving me some number. This is approximately equal to 0.5.
Yes, sir.
Approximately equal to 0.49 is approximately equal to 0.5. So 0.5 is half. Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you able to
Yes,
see
sir.
half? 0.5 is half.
Yes, sir.
Now what am I doing is this half I am calculating for months. So half a month I have to give an order every time. That's what it is saying. Time gap between one order to the other order is half a month. That's what it is saying. Whoever did not understand, you got it?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
it depends on question that we have to take months or days.
That's
Or
what that's why I'm saying I took months. If the data is given in the form of days, asking for days, you can convert it into days. What is there? You take 365 days per year and do.
Sir,
Can't
in
you do it?
question, it is not mentioned to find in date or day, sir. That's what I am asking.
In question, it is not given in the form of days or. Yes, Rahul. Is it Rahul?
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, only asking that time between two successive orders. So it is not mentioned to find it in days or in months. So, sir, it's up to us to calculate in days or months.
You can do that. If you are doing it for 365, then you whatever value you get is it in terms of days instead of taking 12. You got
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes,
You
sir.
can take 52 weeks also. If you are calculating for weeks, you will take 52 here.
Yes, sir.
So I clearly told because I am taking for months, I took it for 12. If you take it for weeks, you can take 52. If you take it for days, you can take 365. That's how you change.
Sir, in last trimester, sir, we have told that while we are calculating this time between two successive orders,
Okay.
so we just do the inverse of the above, sir, number of orders. That EOQ upon demand
EOQ upon demand. Okay.
into
So what is happening?
365, sir. And
Okay.
same answer will come.
And you are getting the same answer.
Yes, sir.
You can do it.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
See, I'm just telling you the procedure. Whatever you feel is easy, you can follow that, because you already discussed, you already know this concept. You feel that method is easy, you can follow that. This is actually the process as to what we are doing, how we proceed to do.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Which one is convenient for you? You can take that. But you should know that the basics remains the same.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubts so far? Any doubts? This is EOQ. I'll give you some problems for practice.
Sir,
Yes. Yes.
sir, in a question, sir, it is written, sir, 20% of purchase price per unit, and the purchase price per unit is 50 rupees.
Yes.
सर ये परचेज प्राइस वही है ना, मतलब कि जो मुझे खरीदने में मटेरियल की जो कॉस्ट लग रही है.
Yes.
एंड 100 रुपीज जो ऑर्डरिंग कॉस्ट है उसमें सारे कॉस्ट इन्वॉल्व है. मटेरियल कॉस्ट में इन्वॉल्व है, और फिर उसके बाद जो प्रोसेसिंग हो रही है उसकी भी इन्वॉल्व है.
Yes.
ओके.
That is involved, but this is only taken for you to understand that out of that 100, they only give, in that 100 this 50 is also there, but we are not using this 50 anywhere now. In the EOQ, we are only using the 50 to find out what is only the carrying cost.
Yes.
That purchasing cost is given only for you to derive what is the carrying cost.
Got it.
Yes. So see, this is about EOQ. Similarly, we also have to do about ABC analysis. We also have to do a problem on ABC analysis.